Streaming looks like the dream job. I mean, playing games all day, hanging out with chat, making money, doing what you love from your gaming setup. But behind the scenes, there's an unseen cost to such a luxurious lifestyle that almost every creator faces: burnout. Today, we dive deep into the dark side of streaming, why it happens and what it looks like, and the hidden toll it takes on creators. I guess first off, we should start off with what is burnout. Burnout in anything is the physical, emotional, and mental stress of overdoing something, specifically something that at one point you really enjoy, but taking it to such extremes that it becomes mundane or almost annoying, like a lot of your shitty relationships. Now, I am a big believer that a lot of people in society try to use burnout as a cop-out to not go after things that they really want in life, just using burnout as an excuse to not do anything at all. But when we're talking live streaming, burnout has been one of the biggest culprits into people legitimately hating what they do. I mean, streaming is a recipe for disaster. If you look into it, it takes a lot of hours to do. You consistently need to be able to entertain and interact and put in this like fake face to appease to new viewers. There's like a true lack of separation between work and life while you're constantly on. This is what will inevitably, for a lot of people, turn that fun experience where you're just discovering this for the first time into the idea of work, which changes everything. The best example of this is for anybody that's been streaming for some time. When you're playing games off stream, it's relaxing. But when you're streaming, after a while, you start to notice it's not just gaming anymore. It's like you're trying to produce a show every single time you're live. You have this constant pressure of the potential of new people coming in and trying to be this personality that you think you need to be, on top of the weight of the things that you need to be able to record to put out on social media so that way you can bring new viewers in. So burnout is the almost inevitable collapse of taking this thing that you used to escape your mundane and your routine, and then it becomes the very thing that you ended up hating. Now, why do streamers, amongst many creators, typically hit the burnout stage? The streaming culture has this delusional, endless grind streaming mindset. It's this idea that the only way you can grow and you can prove yourself is by being live longer, because the longer that you're live, the more people will tune in. It gets even worse when you actually do start growing viewers, because every single day that you don't show up, you feel like you have the potential of losing those hard-earned viewers that you've gained. On top of that, streamers end up going so hard that they lack any sense of balance. Dude, if you're never creating any downtime and just taking care of yourself, like even just getting chores done around the house, doing some physical activities, streaming and gaming ends up feeling like an obligation instead of enjoyment. And then the really fucking weird one, the parasocial pressure. This is something that I've dealt with throughout the years. There's a huge disconnect in the online world with people that create parasocial relationships. This idea that they're closer to you than what they really are. This can be mentally taxing, especially for a vast majority of streamers that try to present themselves, trying to come off as if they're like this different person, like maybe overly energetic or really like PG friendly. If you as a person are not who you genuinely are, and next thing you know, you gain an audience being something you're not, and they expect something of you and expect that energy and response from you 24/7, enabling this idea that you have to perform, it's just a recipe for disaster. Not to mention at certain points, it gets really scary and stressful. Like, people don't know boundaries. Some people mean really well, but like they cross the line and it makes you feel really uneasy. Another reason so many people experience burnout is financial illiteracy. Income in streaming is unpredictable, and if you don't grow multiple forms of revenue across the board and rely on one place, and you're going to fit into the pod of so many other streamers out there where, because they don't know how to monetize their brand everywhere and rely on one place, inevitably streamers end up pushing harder than what they should, because they think if they show up longer, the more money that they could get. This is also why you see so many streamers end up going down the route where they desperately rely on their community for income. Let me just say this right now. If you specifically desperately rely on your community gifting you subs to stay in business, you're not in business. You are essentially a charity case at that point, and you should not be doing this full time. I mean, even outside of the financial part, we've seen some of the biggest creators that make plenty of money go down the route of needing to take breaks from their burnouts as well. Or we've seen streamers throughout the years that didn't take a break, but you could clearly tell they were burning out, and a break was probably the best thing that they could have done.
Can't do it anymore, dude. Can't.
What happened?
I'm fucking sick of this, dude. I gotta take a break from streaming, dude. I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna lose my fucking mind, bro.
And this is why there's like an unseen cost to streaming, like the emotional toll that hits streamers. So much stress, anxiety, and depression, wondering if they're gonna make it the next month, wondering why maybe their numbers are down this month, wondering why they put countless hours in, but seeing somebody else that maybe put less hours in get more than they did. A big cost is the physical tolls. This glorified idea of like the streamer grind results in so many streamers having the shittiest sleep schedules and never taking care of themselves. Lack of exercise, eating constant fast food meals. Don't even get me started on the amount of streamers that, back to the financial point and this health point, are barely breaking societal minimum wage, but door dashing every meal just to justify this idea that like, hey, at least they can be live longer. It's part of their job. Bro, quit being lazy. You can literally meal prep an entire week's worth of healthy food on a Sunday. The physical toll on streamers is the part that I think is vastly ignored. The amount of creators in this industry that I've seen, including myself, that gained weight and got depressed just from the physical inactivities that they've done over the years. I don't know who needs to hear this, but your body was meant to move and meant to sleep. They're two very crucial parts of being a normal human being. On top of that, when you're mentally, emotionally, and physically down, there goes all your creative juice, dude. The loss of passion for games or creating content that you know will bring in new viewers. Once again, the shit that once brought you joy, like the idea of putting together a clip to share to social media, used to make you happy and get you excited, but now you can't fucking stand it. But I think one of the most unseen costs that we've seen with streamers throughout the years is the relationship cost. Streaming takes so many hours, takes so much focus that over the years, we've often seen so many people prioritize streaming over relationships. As crazy as it sounds, I literally know people that have ruined their marriages over streaming, and they weren't even like big creators. Turns out trying to cut people out of your life to generate some kind of parasocial audience online usually doesn't end well. I can't express enough how important it's been for me over the years of being a streamer to keep the relationships in my life close. You don't need a big circle, but it's really healthy for you to still at least be around human beings. This is where we move into the common coping stage of streamers. I guarantee what I'm about to say, either A, you've done this as a streamer, or you've seen a streamer do this, because even I've done this. Because the unseen cost of being a streamer is so high, we'll start coming up with ideas to hopefully fix these problems, right? Number one, taking extended breaks. Streamers will often just tell themselves, hey, if I take a couple weeks off, reset, come back, I'll be better than ever. Now, there's nothing wrong with extended breaks. The problem is streamers will try to cope with this idea that if they do this and come back, they'll be happy again. But 99% of the time, all they do is take a break, come back, and hate it even more because they're just jumping into the same horrible fucking routines that they were doing in the first place. They'll next cope by saying, you know what? It's the game. It's the content. I'm so burnt out on Fortnite. Like, that's all we play. So now I'm going to change up to Call of Duty, and that will like re-spark my love for this. But then you typically see the fall of the numbers, which creates the stress and anxiety and depression again. And it's not at all that streamers can't move from one game to another. I've done that plenty of times throughout the years. It's just that it's difficult. And if you're not doing the other things that we talked about earlier, like taking care of yourself, being around other human beings, controlling your hours, getting better sleep, when you get excited about trying to do something and you think it's going to re-spark your love for it and it doesn't, and it makes it even worse, you feel trapped and it just sucks more. You'll see this overabundance of streamers saying, I'm going to create better schedules so that way you know when I'm here. Or like, fuck my community. I'm going to start building a community that will be around no matter what. And again, these are great ideas, but none of these ideas work if you're still doing the exact things that cause the problems in the first place. This is where we can move into some valuable lessons for streamers and viewers. For the viewer perspective, I think it's safe to say if you notice a streamer take some time off, it's not that they don't appreciate being there and they don't care about your view. They just might need some goddamn time off. This shit gets really lonely and boring and just and shitty, right? You just can't expect somebody to be on 24/7. Even as a viewer, maybe you shouldn't be watching content 24/7. Maybe you should be doing some of the very things we talked about today for yourself. For streamers, a really solid lesson is creating a routine, having some balance, protecting your physical and mental health, doing things like not just only relying on streaming as a form of income, making sure you spend time on yourself, spending time with other people, and getting good sleep, sticking to creating a schedule, and yeah, sure, playing the games that you enjoy. But at the end of the day, depending where you are in your career as a streamer, if you're more to the point of full time and you've actually turned this into a pretty serious thing, it's crucial that you treat this like a goddamn job. Like this is your business now. And any business that wants to be productive and scale has to take shit serious. You don't just get to run the business without managing the finances and doing quality control and making sure your customer service is good. Lo and behold, if you want to be successful at something in life, you actually have to take it serious enough to look inward and analyze shit and create some structure to it. Ultimately, streaming can be amazing. We're not ignorant to that. I've had many ups and downs throughout the years, but I've enjoyed it overall. But it's not without these unseen costs. It's inevitable. Like, these things are going to happen. Recognizing the potential and the idea of what real burnout is and making these changes early on, I think, is the only way that you combat burnout or just avoid it altogether. But hey, what the fuck do I know? I fell off.